And then all of a sudden, we have an Audi to show you guys here. Not just any Audi, a Audi S3. Something which really looked good in the whole 2000 era going right to 2013.
Yeah, so the I think the shape started in about 2003, 2004, and then late 2008, it actually had a facelift up until about end 2013.
Yeah.
So one of my personal favorite cars is the pre-facelift. I think this was the change in Audi and VW. This was the same generation and launch with the Golf 5.
Yes.
And if you know your history about the VWs, you know that the KR and this ABF 16 valves were powerful engines. Then they changed over to turbocharged engines, which was the 20 valve engines in the earlier models of the Audis. Mm-hmm. And then for some reason they thought, okay, let's go back 16 valve. But let's not only go back 16 valve, let's make it the FSI. Yeah. And that's where they changed the game.
100% there, Yaku. And that's where they changed the game. Because when I go back to that era, all I can remember is the Golf 5 GTIs, all trying to get the KO4, which was the conversion which made the Audi that powerful. Yes. And that was the street scene. Because every drag race you went, this guy was kind of getting all of those cars. And this was like kind of the beast of that time. And that's how I remember this car. It was a beautiful car. And, you know, there was a price tag to it as well. And there weren't many guys that could afford this car as well in that scene. But it was one of those cars like today when you used to bring out the Golf 7Rs and you did all the modifications. Everybody wants to rather go behind the track instead of racing. You kind of like the RS3 right now, current 5-cylinder.
Yes.
And that's where this kind of started that whole scene off, you know, with Audi, because they've changed so much since then. And even then, they were always the power everyone was looking for.
Yeah, you see, when this car came out, so initially when the Golf 4s and the Golf 3s were there, everybody tended to go back to the Golf 1s because they wanted the Golf 1s and they wanted the Golf 2s. And everybody, there was this big rivalry about the 8 valves and the 16 valves and the 20 valves. And everybody fought this whole fight on the drag strip every Friday night. And then the Golf GTI, Golf 5 and the S3 came out, which we then call the big worm.
Game changer.
The big worm. And this car came and it changed everything for the guys. And the rivalry even got worse.
Yeah.
But now the Golf 5 GTI Oaks can keep up with the S3 Audi. Mm-hmm. And that became a big rivalry. And I think the Golf 4 and Golf 3 and Golf 1 kind of just phased out into the background when this generation came out.
Yeah.
And this generation set the stepping stone for your Golf 6, Golf 7, Golf 8.
Definitely.
And your Audis.
This is the 8P platform, isn't it?
Yes, this is the 8P, yeah.
So this was something definitely for the day. And, you know, I know when this car came in, you now all of a sudden transitioned. And a lot of guys don't know out there that Yaku's speciality before the BMWs you see all over in the showroom was VW. That's where he specialized. And when he's seen something like this come into the showroom, it brought a big smile to his face because he always asked me, he's like, why don't we do any VWs? Why don't we bring that market into our shop? Why don't we custom some of these cars? Why don't we spray paint them? And I said, maybe it's the perception. Maybe people think because we do all the ISs and because of the price on the IS restorations, people maybe have this perception that a blowover could cost or could be overcapitalized on the car like this. But when you're looking at this car right now and you're thinking, okay, fine, is it a overcapitalized on this car? I really don't think so, because when you see a spray job on a car like this and you're bringing something historical, like a car like this back, it's worth every cent spent because it's such a beautiful car. And even just the drive the other day on this car.
Yes.
I mean.
So the drive on this car, I think that's what the first initially got me.
Yes.
The drivability of this car, the stability of this car, and the performance of this car is so evenly balanced out that you enjoy it, whether you're going to the shop, that's 1 kilometer, or you're going to Cape Town.
Yeah.
It's thousands of kilometers. The biggest thing that I thought changed the game in this thing was not only the mechanical, which I explained now, but also the look of the car, what you can do with the car. And initially when this car came out, or came into us, I thought, okay, now this guy bought this car now, we're going to paint this car, we're going to swoop this car up, we're going to put some wheels. You know, I'm ready for this. I've got lacquer recipes. And then actually we got the quite opposite reaction from the client.
Yeah. bringing everything back to standard,
Bringing
standard
everything back
turbo,
to standard.
standard downpipe, everything back to original. Exactly what we do. I know where you wanted to go
Yeah.
because I thought that's where we're gonna go because that's most of the VW Audi crew. They always want to modify the cars. And I mean, guys, I'm a VW driver. I love my Golf 7.5R. So I know where I like to go with that. And that's exactly where Yaku taught. But obviously, we do this on a daily basis, bringing cars back to originality, back to standard for the value. And I think for you Audi lovers out there, I think this is something you guys can bring in because you can see what we've created on this car and you see the originality that we even put on and even the paint and silver gray, you can see through the lens. And I think we're going to show you entirely what our paint jobs actually consist of on a car like this. And I think it can be worth it for a lot of you guys who drive Audi out there. Because if you wanted to restore it, we've got this one and we've got the RS4, which we just finished right now, which we're also going to put on for the blowover. Because, by the way, we got caught up in this whole thing of talking about the car performance because of the excitement of this being one of those Audis coming in and bringing it back to that originality. But there's a RS4 to follow with a blowover as well. And when it comes to paint, I mean, you can see it on the car itself now. And we've been talking about this for a long time. This is not just a blowover. It's what we call a respray.
Yes.
I think we have to restructure that conversation, Yaku, from what everyone talks about a blowover. And I think that's where many people get lost. Because there's a massive difference out there. When we talk about a blowover, we're not talking about what every other guy talks about. We're talking about detail here. We're talking going down to metal, bringing everything back up from base up, from metal up right to the paint job. So we're not blowing over. And that's where the misconception comes in. We're respraying a car completely.
I think the terminology blowover is a very bad terminology because it actually in a short sentence tells you we're just going to scuff down and blow over your old paint. And that is exactly what we do not do. So if you had to come and see what our blowover strip down looks like before it even gets to the down to metal phase, I think the people might get a fright of how deep we can actually go into these cars. I mean, we don't just take off bumpers and lights and mask the windows. Everything gets taken off.
Yeah.
We strip the panels loose because we need to get behind. You know, it's important for Glossworx to know that behind your fender, it's clean. It's fresh. Behind the door hinges, it's clean, it's fresh. Underneath, it's clean and fresh. It's not just blowing your car and saying, okay, you got a shiny car and there you go. That's a misperception that the industry has now showed the clients out there. And that's why they've got this kind of doubt and hesitant feeling of, must I do this? What's actually going to happen to my car? What's actually going to be stripped and put back together? Is it going to be put back together right? Is the lines going to be right? Am I going to have paint for 6 months and then it starts peeling off? You know, that's a lot of, and I think in a lot of minds, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that has got this feeling that I'm going to paint my car and 6 months or a year later, it's going to look twice as bad as what it did before I painted my car. And at Glossworx, I think it's difficult to talk about how good our quality is. We can only show it.
Yeah. No, but based on that, right? Saying that exactly the way it is that the misconception is whatever is on the paint. So previously painted 10 times or an accident and a cheap repair on the side of the car because you went to some shop which didn't have quality enforced in their rules or engaged to certain standards to get the car to a certain way. So they call it a blowover.
Yes.
You come in with 70K, they coat you, they say we're going to spray an entire car for 70K. Now we look at it very different, and that's why I think this is a good way to actually discuss this, where people actually understand what you actually have to do to get the car to looking back to a factory or OEM quality. Now, if I had to take a car down to metal, it means I'm redoing everything that needed to be done because first I have to treat the metal. I have to put on a rust remover onto the metal. I go with primer. Then I go with whatever the color of the base of the car is. And then I clear coat the car, which means I'm building up levels of microns onto the car to give you the perfect spray job that looks original. But usually that doesn't appear in any body shop. And we've seen this. And this is the things I want you guys to actually see. If I have a car and multiple times this car has been repaired and sprayed, and I scuff down these panels, number one, the buildup is way too much. And also what's underneath there soon is going to show its appearance. And that is a short time restoration or a short time spray job, because the time factor is going to bite you and you're going to redo that, which means 70 and 70 again is going to be 140K. Why not just come to Glossworx the first time and do something that's appropriate and the right way of doing it? And then you have these lines that all strike out. You got the proper paint and the proper quality paint used on the car itself. For me, that's the factors. I think you have to look at that realistically before thinking of spraying your car. There's no such thing as a cheap job, not in this day and age, using the right quality products like we would use. I mean, our consumable builds is crazy. It's insane because there's nothing here that we use that is cheap. Everything is always the highest and the best of quality. And I think that's why a lot of people trust our spray jobs, and a lot of people who don't know would actually classify us as the expensive shop.
Yes. So if you think about the quantities of cars that we do per month, it's not high. If you look at our consumable bill, you'll think we do 200-300 cars a month, which is not the case. We rather, as you say, go down to metal and treat the problem if there's any problem, and then build back up. We don't like hiding things away. And I think a lot of the guys now on the collector sides has now been slowly stepping into our company.
Yeah,
and they're coming in and they just got this urge to come and see why his friend is using us and paying the money that he's paying and not going with the previous shops that they used.
Yeah.
And I think the work speaks for itself. When the clients come into the shop, the first perception always is okay, what's standing on the shop floor?
Yeah.
So now you're seeing E30s, because that's what's always on our shop floor. And then you maybe see a Porsche and you see Audi and you see this. And by the time that the client has walked through, without us even saying anything, I'm talking about coming through the door and taking a walk through the cars. He can already see the quality.
Yeah.
And that's when he comes to us and he starts asking us, and we take him through the process and we go show him. And then after that, you'll start bringing his cars that's worth millions to redo here. I mean, some of our clients have got cars that they resprayed a couple of months ago and they're not happy with it. They're bringing it here and we're taking everything down and we're restarting it.
Yeah. And we've learned through those processes. Yes. I mean, we're not claiming to be the best on the market, or neither are we claiming to say that we know it all. We both know the transitions, me and you, every day working in these shops. We both understand what we go through when it comes to workmanship. We also know the qualities and the guarantees. We also know the paint that we use. We know that after 5 months or 10 months or even 3 years, we're not going to have our paint clear coats fade because we're using the best of clear coats available on the market. And the transition also, we know that transition. We speak about the transition all the time. If you come to Glossworx, you find there's a new spray booth, you find there's new paints, you find there's new qualities of how we're going to apply those paints. It's consistent, it's continuous, and we never stop with growth because we believe in growth. We believe in high quality finishes and we believe in the right raw materials in order to get the car to looking that way.
No, definitely.
And we learn every single day, isn't it?
Yes, no. So I would say that over the time now we've spent with the paint and the panels, whether it's aluminium or steel, we've learned where to go and where not to go. Mm-hmm. And we've been down the road where everybody tells you to go, and we've stopped and we've said, no, we're not doing this. We're doing it the right way. If we need to replace the panel, we replace the panel. If we can repair the panel, and I've now seen that we can pretty much bring a panel back to life that most people will throw away. Yeah. You know, I've seen it now. And for us to be able to tell the client, listen, we can save your panel that you cannot find. Yeah. We can get it back for you. I mean, we've got a car in the shop that's got that problem and we resolved it.
And because of the car being so niche, Jaco, you cannot find that panel, and to try and find that panel is a nightmare. So we had to reconstruct that panel. And I think that's a good point that Jaco is actually trying to get at. But because our labor is not cheap in our shop and we employ professional technicians, the time we spend on that panel already is not worth it. But we do it because we have the love and our passion is there to restore and bring cars back. So no matter what it costs us, we'll always find that solution in order to bring that car back to its originality. Even if it means a reconstruction of a panel took us 2 weeks, 2 weeks of solid labor and 2 weeks of solid people that's earning high amounts as our technicians to actually repair that, which makes it not worth it, which an insurance company throws out in the first hour and says, listen, uneconomical repair. We take that on. We make sure we bring that level to any restoration that we're doing because of the passion and the love.
It is because of the passion and the love. And I think that attracts our clients. For instance, a car like this, the client might have a sentimental value to it. His father might have owned it, or he bought it brand new.
Yeah.
And he kept it throughout the years. And for him to see the car that he started out with or inherited back to life makes us feel good. That's why we here is to bring the cars back to life, which other people would just neglect and throw away. And 100%. This is not one of those cases. No one will throw away this car.
No, definitely not. I get what you're saying.
It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece on its own. And to see the car back in its perfect form, its perfect shine, the car performs like a brand new car. It makes me feel good. You know, it makes me feel, and I feel so comfortable giving the client back his car and telling him, listen, please go enjoy it. Drive it down to Cape Town.
100%.
You know, and most people will say that I won't say crazy, but and obsessed, but we go the extra mile wherever we need to, whether it's working till 12 o'clock at night or whether it's repairing a panel that's uneconomical to repair. We will do that for our clients.
Definitely. And this is one of those cars that show it, right? Because, I mean, guys, silver gray, for you guys that don't understand spray painting, to spray a silver gray car is definitely not easy. There's a lot of things that comes in when you have to spray a silver gray car. And I think I'm pretty proud with the color, the way it came out on this car, everything, the key lines, everything on this car really looks amazing. I'm sure from the camera, you guys can see a certain perception of what the car is. And I know a lot of people use a lot of camera tricks out there to show you guys certain things that's not exactly what it's supposed to look like from the camera lens. But we always welcome you. Come to the showroom, come and have a look at all the cars we've done. And then you're going to see exactly what we're saying. And that's an open invitation for most of you guys out there. And I don't think a lot of guys actually invite people out to their shops to actually come and see the magic that they create. We always open. Our cars are always on the showroom. Our batches are always consistent. And yes, it's restoration. So sometimes our timing is completely out. And sometimes we say you can bring a car in now and the times get delayed because these are cars and mechanically a lot of things can go wrong in a space of time. So we're not accurate with our times when we say bring in the car, we're going to have it done by this time, that time. I mean, this is a blowover that's supposed to be over a month.
Yes.
But there has been changes on this blowover, like you said, from where to where. It started off with the blowover, then it became a complete respray, then it was the seats, then it was ordering parts from overseas like a grill and a spot.
Yes.
And then it was mechanical, taking the car, changing the downpipe,
so
changing the turbo.
Went back. He wanted the cat back. He wanted the KO4 standard back. He wanted the air induction system back. He wanted everything back to normal. And, you know, I think what delays us sometimes in our time frame and why we don't necessarily keep or get to keep to the time is because we've got a bit of an OCD problem.
Yeah.
We keep cars here, and I know we keep cars here for what other people have gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
But we keep it here because we want to fix that last bit of thing.
The standard, the quality.
The standard and the quality is
the
what we stand
reputation.
for.
That's what we are. That's what Glossworx is built around. It's everything. It's a learning thing, a learning transition for us because we learn every single day.
Yes.
We go through processes. We try different materials. We try different things that we need to try in order to get better quality. And we keep polishing and we try to keep that clear coat on the car as thick as possible so that we know it's a longevity on the car that makes the difference. So is there anything you'd love to add to this? Yeah, I think we've spoken a lot about a blowover. I think we've spoken a lot about spray painting. What did you say? What else do you want to add on this car? Because there's been few things transition to get this car to this point. I mean, you've done all the mechanicals on the car. So that means you changed the turbo.
Yeah, I changed
back to stock.
I went down with the downpipe. We took off the downpipe. We went cat. And while we were busy with the car, I told the client, let's do cam out, let's do water pump, let's do seals, let's do the service. The car's been standing for a while. Let's keep it fresh. And we did everything there. And the client had not one problem to say, listen, let's not do it. I know where the client wants to go.
Yeah.
You know where the client wants
Yes,
to go.
yes.
We knew what the client wanted.
Yeah.
And I think we got the car to where he will be happy with this car.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, just to touch a bit on the seats of this car, Jaco. So we tried to go like phenomenally with the seats, but obviously that pattern inside of the seats cannot be purchased, or you cannot repress that
Yes.
pattern. So we actually got the side bolsters to look almost, well, I would say restored and new. But the center, we had to try and do our whole thing with the spray painting, stripping down, and get that with our leather repair kit to look as good as possible.
Yes.
But you're never going to get that now, obviously, to look brand new or to look like it just came out of the factory, because there's been a lot of time spent in this car, and this car has been driven.
Yes.
That's the facts of it. But I still think from what we tried to achieve, I think it looks really phenomenal. And then there's the other part, which I think it's the only other difference that we've done on this car, and that's our signature, which is the Alcantara wood lining.
Yes.
And I think that lifted up this whole interior by a lot. Because when I look at this car now, and especially being the silver that's so striking and that shows all the lines, and you sit in a car that the whole interior has been refreshed, and you look on top on the roof, you just find that very classy, or should I say very exclusive, because you'll find it more in the M cars, more in the higher end
Yes, yeah.
Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes and stuff.
So you'll always find that Alcantara, and I always think that creates a classy look to the car interior itself. And on a sports racing car like this, it's really complemented with the color silver, because it's so that anthracite color that actually goes into the silver. So it
melts
kind of
into the silver,
marries the whole
Yeah.
system together. So I love that. And then obviously, yeah.
You know, Mo, while we're talking about the Alcantara now, I think the most leather that we've used throughout this year and last year is actually Alcantara.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very, very nice material to work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult material, an expensive material to work
Yeah.
with. But the finishing on these cars, I mean, even on the previous cars that we've done, we've got a client that brings in all these cars for Alcantara.
Yeah.
And I think it fits not only with any niche car, like we'd say, like the M cars or
Yeah.
but it suits these cars as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
even like you said, your 7.5. If anything, if ever that happen with your roof lining, you go Alcantara.
Well, without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
Without hesitation. I know what it brings. I know that it adds to that luxury part of the car. It creates that luxury look on any car that you can do. So for me, definitely Alcantara fan with no hesitation. We'll put it in my own personal cars. I think it definitely suits the look of this car. And I think this car, from my perspective, came out really nice. There's a bit of tweaks here and there that we're working on. But from face value, the car is amazing. It looks amazing. It looks incredible. And I'm actually happy to present this to you guys. And, you know, you put your comments out there. We're always learning and happy to hear from you guys. But for me, thank you guys. I think it's been amazing just doing this car and working with this car. And I think Jaco's put a lot of magic also in getting that motor compartment to look good.
Yeah, no, we did the effort to bring it back to OEM as possible, Mo. But we've now spoken about everything I think we possibly can spoken to. I think people now understand what our blowover would be. It's a respray, because we take our cars down. I think let's show the audience now in detail like what this car actually looks like from a camera perspective. And like Mo said, that if you ever around the area and you want to come drink a cup of coffee and you want to see what we all about here, the door's open. You're more than welcome to come. Even if you just want to take a cup of coffee and sit in our lounge and look through the glass window and observe, you're more than welcome to come and do that.
So from us, once again, guys, thank you for watching this video. We hope to see you guys soon. There's a lot of cars. Please stay tuned to our channel. We are growing this channel at the moment. We want to bring you guys some exceptional content. We can't wait to do the next cars. And I think we're all starting to grow into this as well. We're becoming more confident behind the cameras. And we thank you for your support. We thank you for always supporting us and bringing cars in. And we see you again.